It started on a Tuesday. Andrew, a pediatrician, had been home with Luke for 9 weeks when Orange, the family's Orange Tabby Cat, began to change. Not dramatically, not in a way that made anyone reach for the phone immediately or say something is wrong out loud, just quietly, the way that real problems begin. At the edge of ordinary life, in a place where nobody is paying close attention, the Orange Tabby Cat pressed his forehead against the baby's stomach. That was how it started. Andrew noticed it on the 3rd day. By the 5th day, Amanda had noticed it too. They talked about it over dinner while Luke slept in the next room, and they came to a reasonable conclusion. The family thought the animal was becoming territorial. It made sense. It fit the pattern. They were not careless people. They were careful, attentive parents who had read the parenting books and baby-proofed the house and knew when to call the pediatrician and when to wait. They waited. On the 8th day, the behavior escalated. What had been intermittent became constant. The Orange Tabby Cat stopped sleeping through the night. Andrew would find he standing in the hallway at 2 a.m, not pacing, not whining, just standing, facing Luke's door, still, waiting for something that Andrew could not identify. She told Amanda she was starting to feel uneasy. He said he understood, but that they should give it another few days. They gave it 2 more days. On the 10th night, the Orange Tabby Cat did something it had never done before. Not once in the years they had owned he. He pressed his entire weight against Luke's bedroom door from the inside. When Andrew opened the door at 3 a.m., she found the animal standing over Luke's small form, not touching, just positioned. Deliberate, certain. Andrew stood in the doorway for 4 seconds. Then she turned on the light. What she saw made her reach for her phone before she had fully processed what she was looking at. The details will not be repeated here because they belong to the family and to Luke's medical file. What matters is that emergency services arrived within 9 minutes. What matters is that the on-call physician later told Andrew, standing in a hospital corridor while monitors beeped steadily from the room behind her, that the paramedic said another 20 minutes would have changed everything. The doctor said one more thing. She said, "Whatever your animal was doing, it was right." The investigation afterward was thorough. The cause turned out to be cat-detecting UTI in nonverbal baby. Silent, invisible to any human sense, the kind of thing that builds without announcement and resolves without mercy if nothing intervenes. The Orange Tabby Cat had been detecting it, not being trained for it, simply detecting it, the way animals detect things that exist beneath the threshold of human awareness, in the chemical signature of breath, in the micro-vibrations of a building, in the frequencies of air that carry information we have given up the ability to read. Andrew sat in the hospital for 6 hours. She sat with his hands in his lap and thought about the 9 days she had watched the Orange Tabby Cat behave strangely and had found a reasonable explanation every single time. She thought about the family thought the animal was becoming territorial. She thought about how certain she had been. She had been wrong. Amanda arrived at the hospital at 4 a.m. They didn't talk much. They sat together in the corridor and watched the clock and waited for the physician to come back out and give them news they could carry home. The news was good. Luke recovered fully. The treatment was straightforward once the cause was identified. The attending pediatrician used the word fortunate twice in a single sentence, which is not something physicians do unless they mean it. When they brought Luke home 3 days later, the Orange Tabby Cat was waiting at the front door. Not excited, not performative. Just there in the way that a thing is there when it has been waiting because it knew to wait. Andrew knelt on the floor. She put his arms around the animal's neck. She didn't say anything out loud. Some things don't need to be said. The Orange Tabby Cat has slept in Luke's room every night since. Andrew checks in each morning and finds them in the same configuration. The animal positioned at the foot of the small bed, watching the door, doing what animals do when they have accepted the job of watching over someone who cannot watch over themselves. If you have ever dismissed a pet's strange behavior as anxiety or jealousy or stress, stop. Watch it more carefully. Ask a different question. The answer you find might be one you needed a long time before you thought to look for it. What the family carried home from that experience was not just relief. It was a different kind of attention. The kind that notices small things before they become large things. The kind that doesn't rationalize a pet's behavior away when the rationalization feels just a little too convenient. The animal had been doing everything right from the beginning. It just needed one person to stop explaining it away. That person showed up in time. Not everyone does. That is the part of this story worth remembering. The research on animal detection continues to expand, scientists documenting cases like this. One have found that the olfactory and auditory sensitivity of domesticated animals, particularly dogs, extends into ranges that human instruments are still being designed to measure. What the animal in this story was detecting existed. It was real. The animal was not confused, not anxious, not acting out. It was doing the most important work it would ever do, in the only language it had, hoping someone would understand. This family did, just in time.